Yeah, why don't you come on out? Zain and Tom, we have Ed with us. We might be missing one, is that correct? But we have exactly what we're supposed to have on stage. So here we are, future NFT use cases, the tokenization of all the things that you do online. Well, my friends, tell us all about it. Why don't you go ahead and get us started?
We're working. All right, cool, we're working. Hey guys, welcome. Thank you all for coming to this panel here today. I guess we can start here by kind of giving a brief intro. I'll start. My name is Brendan Oflaherty. Anybody that's on Twitter knows me as Bread. And I come from an enterprise blockchain background, primarily focusing on more B2B and some more government and official use cases on the state and local government side of things. I got into NFTs about a year and a half ago, and have just been absolutely in love with everything the space has to offer.
Forgot the most important thing.
What's that?
That you work for Pepsi.
I also happen to work for PepsiCo. So.
All right, my name's Ed Prado. I am with Rare Tech, and we're a startup. We've been around for 2 years, and what we focus on is actually using one's NFT to authenticate ownership, and if we can authenticate that ownership, we provide a encrypted stream, and that encrypted stream could be anywhere from a movie, a video, a song, an album, a podcast. It could be documents, it could be access to maybe a computer software program. So we are truly, gating with a token, an NFT, and then providing this encrypted streaming experience. So you can think of us as like a Web3 sort of Netflix with an NFT front end.
Hey everyone, my name is Dom, and I'm the co-founder of IQ Labs. We are building the IQ protocol, which is a decentralized finance protocol for renting NFTs. And the idea is that NFT owners would be able to rent out their NFTs, whether they are in-game assets, Metaverse assets, or any other NFTs, to earn passive income, while people could enjoy the utilities that these NFTs provide and the use cases that they empower without actually having to buy them, but they could just pay a fee to rent, just like we do with a lot of real-world things.
Hey everyone, I'm Zain, VP of Engineering at Horizon Labs. We're a venture-backed crypto startup, and we help projects, teams, build anything they'd like onto the blockchain. That could include spinning up an NFT collection or a fungible token launch, or even having their own entire blockchain to themselves. More recent projects include ApeCoin and the other side. And we are the folks behind the Horizon public blockchain, which has been around since 2017, so 5 years or so. We gained a lot of expertise in blockchain infrastructure as well as zero-knowledge cryptography. Very excited about NFTs. I'm happy to get to geek out on it today.
That's fantastic. And so I guess the title here is the future use cases of NFTs, right? And it's an interesting kind of concept to think about, being that NFTs are, I believe, a tool that's utilizing blockchain technology. Being that there are so many industries that could truly benefit from NFTs and blockchain technology in general, I'd love to pass it around here and kind of, I'll start by saying I think that the future of blockchain technology in mass adaptation is going to be a kind of this weird combination of private chains and protecting first-party data while still having the immutability of a mainnet layer on top of that. There's a lot of companies that are trying to enter the space right now that are either received very well or they're not received at all. And a lot of that boils down to who owns your data. And so I think that private blockchains and the use cases that can be applied there are really going to be the future of what we see in NFTs going forward. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I also think that the public blockchain ecosystem provides an amazing opportunity for brands. In particular, so our platform basically relies on a contract address, and if we can verify that contract address is, if you own that contract address, we provide an experience. Well, given the open nature of blockchain in and of itself, you can go out and scrape and find out everybody on the blockchain that owns, let's say, a Nike NFT, and basically market to them, maybe a new brand of athletic footwear or what have you. So I think there's going to be a lot of this like deep mining, and that mining is amazing because it's not just ownership. You're also mining and watching how much they have in their wallet, what transactions they've done recently, so you can kind of gain a little bit of sentiment. So we're really working on that. We're working on bridging with brands, like I was telling you in the green room, and figuring out how we can intelligently sort of cross-pollinate onto other communities and create opportunities for the brands to reach out and generate an experience.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Is there any way that some of these major brands could utilize some of this the technology that your chain is working on?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're actually working with a couple of Web2 brands on this. So if NFT has utility, and I believe that in the future most will have, because that's where the value will be derived, beyond just PFPs. NFTs can represent so much more, give you access rights, memberships, and so on and so forth. And basically what our technology is doing is creating this secondary market where you can monetize your NFTs while someone else can benefit from its utility. So brands can pretty much make these NFTs rentable so that NFT holders who maybe have these NFTs for purposes of investment or speculation could also earn passive income, or they don't need to use them at this time. They would be able to monetize it while other people could rent them out for a small fee without having to actually purchase the asset itself.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that concept of renting. I do think that could be just a really interesting future use case, especially in the Metaverse. I know the Metaverse is early with things like the other side and Sandbox, but I like the concept of owning land as an NFT and then NFTs on top of that land and making use of it. At Horizon, we're one of the largest landowners of other side, and we are planning to build on top of that, forming a guild, bringing the best developers together so that we can continue this ecosystem and utility.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you brought up the Metaverse too, because I think that we're seeing a lot of right now these different brands and these different projects coming in and immediately going for a land sale, immediately trying to incorporate into the Metaverse, and as most people see it right now, it's more, putting on this, Oculus or this VR headset and going and running around this virtual world, I'm curious to see how some of the actual real world applications and use cases could actually tie into that Metaverse experience. And it's something that I'm constantly scratching my head on, trying to figure out exactly, how can we replicate this in a VR world, outside of the augmented reality or the AR, where they're doing overlays and things like that. How can we add more utility to an NFT that is primarily Metaverse focused? And I'd love to hear some ideas if any of you guys have them, because I'm pretty much out.
Yeah, I mean, that makes me think of last weekend. I had a couple of nephews, and they were playing in the Sandbox for a couple hours, and so they're just roaming around, and to them it's a video game. You're right, it's pretty, still I feel very new, but they may not be able to go maybe across the world to have to see a monument or be educated in a certain way. And maybe a lot of folks are like that. They're prohibited by how much they can travel. And so I see that there could be a lot of opportunity and utility around higher education, and also being able to give experiences to those who may not be able to afford it right now.
Either of you guys have
Yeah, I see it more as kind of everyone gets excited about the metaverse, but ultimately it's just a different venue and a different opportunity. And I think if you distill it to that, then you realize, okay, where's the NFT's sort of position in that world? Well, somebody that maybe was never exposed to maybe a film or a song or a store could be in the metaverse and like experience that. And maybe that experience takes place through an unlocked, NFT. But it really is just that. It's a venue and a different opportunity. And I think if you start thinking about that, things start surfacing as far as what the killer use app is. Because right now it's a lot of it's just a bunch of words.
Right, yeah, and it's something that, a lot of, especially if you've been here all week, you hear all of these buzzwords. You hear Web3, you hear Metaverse, you hear tokenization, you hear utility, you hear, I can't even tell how many times people have mentioned to me their own proprietary wallet and marketplace. They're not that they're bad ideas, because there are some amazing teams out here this week, building incredible things. I think that with the metaverse in mind, it's going to be interesting to see how we tie in some physical assets into maybe some of the stuff that you're wearing on the metaverse, or any of the things you're collecting in the metaverse. Maybe you can redeem them in real life for some of these products and some of these different or accesses to things, because you spent X number of hours in the metaverse earning these things, doing the scavenger hunts, doing the run to earn, learn to earn, play to earn, rest to earn to earn, right. All of these different things. But and that's great when you keep it inside that internal metaverse, and I think the trick is really going to be getting some brands to tie into that, to where after you've earned all of these points, after you've accrued all of this stuff in your metaverse world, being able to kind of rep that product and rep that brand, and really support the companies that you trust and you believe in real life. I think that that's going to could be huge. In regards to the education, which is just fantastic. I think that, and I think everybody here can agree that that's one of the biggest hurdles we face. Everyone likes to say, yeah, we're so early, right? And we're early-ish, I think, at this point, Everyone here, I would assume, has at least a wallet of some kind, whether it's MetaMask or Ethereum or Trust Wallet, Coinbase, all of those different wallets. Everyone has a wallet that, is at these events, but these events aren't everybody. And I think one of the biggest hurdles that we find is education and getting these people onboarded to really take advantage of some of these use cases and some of these systems that are in place. And I'd love to hear if any of you guys have some creative or good use cases around onboarding and educating to get people into this system.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, the user experience is the real entry barrier right now, and we need to simplify it in a way. Obviously, a lot of education is needed, but simplifying the UX will make a big difference, because if you look at it right now, you have all these different chains and how many different activities and actions you have to do anything with these NFTs. It's I don't think we'll get mass adoption in the current way. So yeah, definitely we need to simplify it and kind of abstractize it beneath something, so it would be extremely simple for anyone to understand.
Yeah, there's sort of two dynamics in play. It's the friction that you just mentioned, because it is filled with friction. But that's also being minimized. If you look at MetaMask, you can now do PayPal or Apple Pay through MetaMask. It's a little easier. And the second thing, so it's friction and it's utility. So it's ease of use, and then having a purpose to go through all the hoops and hurdles to get some prize, to be able to create some activity that's more so than joining a club that's based on a PFP. And I think that as the movement, as platforms like Rare and other things emerge that give you an incentive to get on, this is very akin to Web 2.0, where you had to buy a modem and you had to download a browser, and there really wasn't that big of an incentive until eBay came around, until the entities were there that gave you the incentive. You're like, well, this is actually really cool.
And I think once you get there, you'll get mass adoption.
Yeah, I agree with that purpose and the reason to go on it, and I feel like it's also just time. I mean, I graduated high school in 1998. It's like dating me a little bit, but like back then, I remember going to the library and there were just like 4 computer terminals there using Netscape Navigator, like going on Yahoo and like just browsing around. That was like the beginnings of Web 1, and like I was the only one doing that. But you knew that was going to be a thing. You knew the internet was going to be coming, and yeah, there was a lot of hurdles to put in, like your credit card, purchase something online, and I do think it just takes time to get there, as we're like, kind of in the experimental phase of like Web3.
Well, and I agree 100%, that, and it's interesting that you brought up eBay, and that was kind of the deciding factor to get people to go spend money on a modem and pay monthly for internet service and things like that. And at the end of the day, why? It's because the user was making money. It gave any user that could get a modem and get online an opportunity to either provide for their family, maybe provide themselves an education, and just earn an income separate from wherever they were working. And I think that's a really important thing when it comes to the kind of future use cases, is how are we rewarding these users? Not just by giving them a PFP that, like, look at this one, it has gold fur, and so it's the rarest of the whole 10,000. It's like, well, great, but if I'm not in this to flip, what's the utility that's really behind that particular PFP? And I see a lot of these different platforms with the, again, like the play to earn, things like that, which I think are doing great things to kind of, especially in some other, countries outside of America where, I mean, $5 goes a long way. If you can earn that just by playing for a few hours on your game, that's amazing. But as far as the use cases go, I mean, how are some other, I'd love to know, what are some other ways that we think the NFTs could potentially generate, some income for people outside of just the flippers, I mean, we can touch on the play to earn, the learn to earn, I think is going to be huge going forward. There's a few platforms out there that are doing educational series that essentially, as you cross each threshold of your education journey, you earn something that will ultimately pay for that education on the back end. I think that's super cool, that it could really benefit a lot of people. And I'm curious to see if you guys have any other cool ideas as far as how we could use these NFTs to really, become like the eBay, or become some sort of entire platform that will generate income for people.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, a lot of things that we do online, they can be tokenized using NFTs. And this will, if you put the NFTs on DeFi rails, then it will create a secondary market and liquidity for them, allowing people to earn by trading them, as well as earn from the utility. For example, I'm working with a couple of teams, and there are some really great ideas. One is tokenizing your hotel bookings, so as NFTs. So you could, for example, when there's a high season somewhere, you book in advance, you have this booking as an NFT, and then come high season, you can resell it later for a higher price. The same can go with like subscriptions, like Netflix, Spotify subscriptions, software subscriptions, anything like this. Memberships. The use cases are really huge.
We've been, when we founded Rare, it was found, Garrett Mengs, who's here, he's our CTO, he had written a book and he wanted to distribute the book as it would a coin or a token, and that's really how this whole journey started. But it really goes back to all the creators on the internet that get absolutely fleeced by the YouTubes of the world or Amazon. When you write a book and you publish it on Amazon, you get like 10% of the book's value in revenue.
Pennies. Pennies. Yeah.
Or you're a musician, you're on Spotify, you really don't get much.
Less than pennies.
Right,
Yeah.
far less than pennies. So this is more about, okay, we've got this amazing sort of conduit that is going to re-democratize
the creator economy, and that's pretty interesting. It's not, it's not play to earn, but it's like create to earn and keep a lion's share of that creation, which I think is something that needs to be kind of looked at.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely huge, giving the creator economy that essentially kind of kick-started all of these NFTs and the artists and things like that are in the space that are just far, far underpaid for their talent. I agree 100%. They need to get paid more.
Yeah, I like the way it's phrased with the creator economy because, I mean, NFTs, they allow you to find out about more niche artists. I like the example of that, the author and the music artist, because like, NFTs allow you to place a bet on maybe an artist that is not as popular and doesn't fit like the label, like a label's box. And so I think going beyond the PFPs, a niche artist could launch a collection that essentially gives them exclusive access to the artist, whether it's like having lunch with them or like going out and having like exclusive post parties with them. But as a purchaser of the NFT, you place the bet, a bet on a groundbreaking artist, and that allows you extra access.
Great. I think we're getting the hook here. I mean, I could spend hours and hours talking about the use cases of NFTs and how they tie into blockchain. But to just kind of wrap it up, I'd love for each one of us here to say like one word answer is what the future utility of an NFT is. I'll start. I absolutely believe it is royalties for sure.
I think it's empowerment.
Identity.
Openness.
Awesome. Ryan, well, thank you everybody for coming, hanging out with us, listening to the panel.
That was wonderful, guys. Thanks so much. All right.